Hey, this is a review of the Grizzly G1026, 3 horsepower, 220 volt shaper. This is it pretty much as it comes from the factory without the extra spindles and the wrenches that are in my drawer. I'm not going to break those out because it tells you what it comes with. I'm just going to go over the basic machine, let you know what I think of it, and maybe it'll help you make some decisions on whether you want to buy one or not. All right, so we'll go to the spec sheet first. There we go. You can look it up online, but that's actually their specs written on the label. Comes with a lockout and a key. Well, it's never been used here, but I don't have any kids here, so. On-off switch, no issues with that. Everything's worked fine. Over here's your spindle height adjustment knob, your scale for the height of your spindle, which it's a ballpark estimate. You're going to measure all your cuts. And then over here on the side is your spindle height lock, which I'll get into later. And mine has a Grizzly mobile base. If anybody wants a review on the Grizzly mobile bases for their units, let me know in the comments section. I'll be happy to give you honest reviews of it. I have all mobile bases on all my equipment from Grizzly. If they weren't built into the machines I have, I bought them. So if you want a review on that, let me know. Okay, so now we're going to get into the shaper. First off, you do not get the Corian Fences. I'll go into that later. What you do get is this big, without expletives, piece of metal that looks like it would serve a safety purpose if you actually would use it. I honestly don't know any woodworkers that would actually use this personally. It's just a common sense thing. It's heavy, it's awkward. You can't see anything you're doing. And the whole purpose here is probably to keep your hands out of the way of the bit, which, if you're a woodworker, you're gonna do that anyway. This plexiglass viewing window that they have here on, you can see it. I mean, I've got a bit in the shaper right now, which is, you can see it there, which is actually just a router bit, a 1/2 inch shanked router bit that's a 1/2 inch round over. And the collet didn't come with the unit. I bought the collet separate, but I use router bits in here as well as the large shaper bits. It depends on what job I'm doing. This plexiglass window, as soon as you start using this, dust gets on here, you can't see crap. So, if it's going to be a safety device, it has to be a useful safety device, in my opinion. This thing is not useful, so much not useful that the only time it's ever been on here was when I bought it and assembled it and realized, what the heck is this? And I'm never going to use this because it makes no sense whatsoever. And the other thing is it's always in the way. So what you do is you just loosen this knob back here and you lift it up like I've done, and you put it somewhere and forget about it. Because I had to take it off a shelf to bring it over here to show you. Okay, now what you do get is you get 2 throat inserts right here that are for, each different type of bit. If you had a larger winged bit, naturally you take this one out and this one would stay in, and you would have that diameter to go with, and then you can go all the way up. You can take this one off if you need to. Nice quality, it's good. Everything's flush with the table. Okay, fences. Let's get into the fence. All right, fences. The fence material you see on here is Corian. This is what it actually came with, which everybody knows, if you're a woodworker, you do not want particle board on any of your equipment. As far as I'm concerned, every fence that I've gotten from Grizzly has been substandard. That's my Grizzly table saw. They came with a phenolic resin fence guides, and they were so out of straight. They weren't flat at all, and there was nothing you were going to do to make them flat. It was like, ridiculous. So anyway, I took leftover Corian and made those, and that works fine on there now. So I did the same for this at basically the same time because I knew it was going to be an issue. So as far as ease of use, these are hold down clamps that come with it. They work well, and if you need them, they're there, and if you don't, you know, they just push them back out of the way like I've done. This is your lock for your adjustment for this fence here. They adjust very easy. I'll reference an old shaper that I had that I got rid of before I moved shops. I had a Jet 3 horsepower, an older unit, and it served me well over the years. So I bought this thinking that it was pretty much the same. What I can say is that these adjustments for my fence are much easier than the old Jet that I had, and they're true. So that's a good feature. The lockdown, easy to do. Same thing for the other side. I'm not going to repeat it, but that's a plus. Comes with this miter gauge. This miter gauge is good. It's solid. It's heavy duty, well built. It's not cheap garbage, you know. And this post was back here. This comes with the unit for that safety device. I'll probably be removing this, and I'm going to make a dust collection port for the back, because what I didn't realize when I bought it is it comes with no dust collection hookup. So all the chips that you make with a shaper, they should have just, what are you going to do? They should have not invented this goofy thing that nobody's going to use and just put a dust collection box on the back with a 4-inch port. That's all they had to do. Suck all your chips out the back, goes to your dust collector, happy days, right? No. So that's going to probably come, this spindle right here, this thing they put on to hold the safety device is going to come off, and I'll transition something into here and make a dust collection box. When I do that, I'll video the dust collection box. So if you have this unit, you'll be able to make something for it that's going to work for you. If you want to use that safety device, that's totally up to you. I'm not telling you not to use it. I'm just saying that for my purposes, I can't figure out how it would be safe when the whole time you're using it, you're trying to see your work that you can't see. And how do you keep your fingers out of things that you can't see? You know, common sense. I mean, they got a guard on there. You can't run your fingers through the guard if you place the guard low enough to the board that you're sending through. But if you can't see your cut, you know, who wants to be blind woodworking? It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's get into a negative. Negative. My Jet had a spindle lock, which you could pull in or pull out. You could push it in to lock it, and you could pull it out to unlock it. And what it did was it locked this shaft from turning, so that when you raise up the bit, which I have to do now to show you, so the camera's moving. I apologize for my camera skills, because I have a 35mm DSLR and I don't know how to use it to do this. And my wife will not be the camera person, so so anyway, that noise you hear is we're getting a storm, so I'm in a big building with a metal roof, so if it gets loud, I apologize. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to put a wrench on here and a wrench on here to get the collet loose to pull that out. Okay, if they had a spindle lock, you could just lock the spindle, use one wrench, be done. Now, let's get into wrenches. Okay, I have to walk over here, so I apologize. I didn't have this ready to begin with. This is actually the wrench I use for that, because their wrenches are like this right here, which I'm going to show you. These are my table saw wrenches that Grizzly sends with your table saw. This is junk. This is Chinese junk. Okay, and yes, everybody can yell at me and say, "Yeah, you bought Chinese junk." I know. Try to save money. That's what you do. It's already cracking and which all of them have done. I mean, you could. My son at 12 could have broke these. You know, this is just typical of stamped, basically Chinese metal. So that's the kind of wrenches that you get with the system. So, you know, you're going to have to come up with your own wrenches, because they're not going to last, and they're not quality made. All right, so like I said, if I had a spindle lock over here or somewhere to lock the spindle, you'd be able to use one wrench. You can't. And this unit does come with, additional spindle pieces, which that you can look online for that. I mean, if you're going for this, you know what you're doing. So I'm going to lower this bit down to table height just so I can show you a flaw in this. Okay, so that should be well enough right there. Okay, so when you get your bit, most people, what you're going to do is you're going to line this fence and this fence up with this bearing that I have on here in this circumstance. And you're going to want your board to run right through here, just touch the bearing, crease it, come straight over here without any change across that line. Okay, now that's great. Now I got my bit at the height I want for my project. I'm all set. But when I go to lock that spindle in at that height, which if you don't lock it, it's going to move on you. I want you to watch this. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'm going to start locking this down. Okay, I'm locking it. Did you see it move? Now I'm going to unlock it. See it move back? Lock it one more time. Okay, sorry, I moved on that one. So I'm unlocking, locking, unlocking, locking. Okay, that bit moves. So once you get this whole thing set up and you want to lock your bit in, as soon as you lock your bit, now your bit moves out here further than your table, further than your fence. And now you've got to adjust your fences back to this again now that you locked it in. So what you end up doing is doing your height first, get your height figured out, and then try to line those up with that after you lock the bit. That's annoying. To me, you should be able to lock your fences in with your bearing, get your thing lined up, get, micro increments of your bit so that you can get the profile that you're looking for. And when you lock it, this should not move, but it does. So that tells me that there's not much thought in that. It works. It stops it. Once you lock it in, it won't move after that. But that little bit shouldn't move at all. So final review. Okay. Final review is that it works. I get all the things done that I need to get done on it. If you can deal with those things that I just mentioned, not bad for the money. But there may be another unit out there and I know Grizzly has changed. A lot of these tools were like this one was made in Taiwan. So this one was made in Taiwan. So some of their equipment's made in Taiwan, some was made in China, but I think they switched factories if I'm not mistaken. So now they have different factories making things. So maybe they may have changed some of this if they knew about it. If they didn't know about it, now they know about it. So now you know about it. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in there. I'll try and answer anything I can for you. If you want reviews on anything else or my opinion on anything, just ask. I'll be happy to help you out. So final thoughts. Not bad for the money. You're going to end up replacing the fence. No spindle lock over here. Garbage wrenches, which most people have wrenches anyway that you can come up with, but it's just the idea. You bought the machine, you should get a decent set of wrenches. That really ticks me off. And the number one thing, no dust port on the back and the bit moving. Mobile base, great. I haven't had any issues with those. If you want a review on those, like I said, just let me know. I'll post a review on the mobile bases and whatever else Grizzly has that I have in here. I'll be doing some more reviews on tools, a lot of drills and hand tools, and I work on things all the time. So hope helps you out if you're looking for a shaper, or if you're looking at Grizzly tools. Take care, have a blessed day, and be safe at woodworking.